My parents funded my brother's failed business but left me in debt. Now they want to meet my daughter. But I drop a truth bomb that changes everything. When I was applying to colleges, I got into a prestigious university with a partial scholarship. I was so excited until my parents sat me down and said, "We can't help you with tuition. Unexpected expenses came up. We just don't have the money." I was devastated, but determined. I took out $43,000 in student loans, worked as a tutor, a library assistant, even did night shifts at a 24-hour diner during med school. There were nights I was so exhausted I could barely stay awake in lectures, but I pushed through. Meanwhile, my younger brother Bobby was working at a local garage, spending his evenings at bars. Our parents never seemed worried. They just laugh and say, "That's our Bobby, always living in the moment." Fraud. Then during my senior year, Bobby suddenly announced he was opening his own auto shop. I found out by accident when he posted grand opening photos on Facebook. Balloons everywhere. Our parents cutting a ribbon with giant scissors. I called Mom immediately, and she got quiet. I said, "Where did Bobby get the money for this?" And after a long pause, she admitted they gave him their entire savings. $47,000. The money they told me didn't exist. I couldn't breathe. I said, "You let me drown in debt while you had $47,000 saved up?" And she said, "Bobby needed it more. He doesn't have a degree. You'll be fine. You're smart. You'll make good money as a doctor someday." I asked, "What about all those nights I ate ramen because I couldn't afford real food? What about when I had to sell Grandma's laptop she gave me for graduation just to buy textbooks?" And Mom said, "We knew you'd figure it out. You always do." That was 8 years ago. I hung up and never called back. I finished med school, cut off almost all contact, moved to Seattle with my wife Donna, became a pediatrician. 2 years ago, we had our daughter Lily. Life was good. I built something they had no part of. Then last month, Mom called for the first time in months. She was crying, said Bobby's auto shop failed. He made bad decisions, got into debt with some shady people. Now he's moved back into their basement. She said they had to remortgage their house to cover his gambling debts. $23,000 gone, just like that. Then she said, "We want to reconnect. We want to meet our granddaughter. Your father is so proud of you. He wants to make amends." I felt sick. They only want me now because Bobby disappointed them. I'm the backup plan, the son they can finally be proud of since their golden child crashed and burned. But part of me was curious, so I agreed to meet them at a cafe near my hospital. Just me. No Donna, no Lily. I wanted to hear what they had to say. I got there early and waited. When they walked in, they looked older. Mom's hair was completely gray now. Dad's shoulders were hunched. They used to seem so powerful to me. Now they just looked small. Mom rushed over and hugged me tight. I stood there stiff, not used to affection from her. We sat down and she started apologizing, said they realized how unfair they'd been, how proud they are of my accomplishments. Then came the truth. She admitted part of why they want back in is because of Bobby's situation. He didn't just fail. He got involved with gambling, lost everything. They had to sell their vacation home, the one they never let me use in high school. As she talked, I remembered asking to stay there with friends before college. They said no, then let Bobby and his buddies trash it for a month. I let them finish their whole speech. Then I took a deep breath and told them everything. I reminded Dad of every football game he went to for Bobby, how he missed my debate team winning state championship because Bobby had a game. I told them about selling my laptop, about working the night shift at that diner, coming home smelling like grease while they funded Bobby's lifestyle. I said, "You made me feel worthless for 18 years, and now you want me to pretend it never happened because Bobby finally let you down?" Dad tried to interrupt, tried to defend himself, so I cut him off. I said, "If you want any kind of relationship with me, it happens on my terms. It'll take years, not months, and I'm not interested in being Bobby's safety net or competing for your attention ever again." Mom was crying. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years, but I wasn't done. I leaned forward, looked them both in the eye, and said, "One more thing. That $47,000 you gave Bobby, I make that in 6 weeks now as a pediatrician, and you will never see a single dime of it." Then I said, "Lily will never know you existed unless you prove you've changed, and right now, I don't think you're capable of that." I stood up, grabbed my coat, and walked out of that cafe without looking back. My phone's been buzzing for days, but I haven't answered. I'm done being the son who wasn't good enough.